Alright, so we're here with our good buddies. So we're doing a Ka24de hatch. So we already love the Ks, you already know. Unfortunately, this one's seen some better days. Decided to give us a little window so we can see inside the internals. So unfortunately, this one's a goner as far as the block.
We got another hole in the block, guys.
But we got another girl over here, so they just threw it in. We just they called us up just so we can finish the rest of the wiring, get everything all sorted out, vacuum lines, intercooler piping, yada yada yada.
And get her started.
So this already has a 5-lug swap on it. As you can see, front Z32 brake calipers, simple little around. Interior. Like I said, it is the hatch with the brake relocate in the rear. So like I said, we just have a bunch of parts laying around that we're just gonna pick and choose from, making sure everything all fits, everything runs correctly. This turbo, it is a Garrett, it's just a 60 as far as the AFRs, not knowing the exact size, probably like a T28, a little bit bigger than that. Unfortunately, as you can see, it is leaking some oil, hard to spin, so we've already notified him that the turbo is probably going out, or leaves out, and needs a new seal. We're just better off getting a new turbo. But we're just going through all the wiring. This thing has seen some better days, so we're just gonna go ahead and clean some of it up the best we can, make some of the grounds for the mass a little bit better. Like I said, just go through the whole thing, clean it all up, making sure this is all separated. But we got some things to do, so we'll show you if we see some little wrong things or right things, what to look out for on the Ks. Other than that, she's looking like a normal boosted Ka. So we'll get back with you. All right, so we've gone through some of our checks and done a little bit of progress on it. Obviously, as you can see, we've taken the turbo off. There was no gasket, so she's just sitting over there. That being said, we've gone through all the wiring. Simple thing we like to do in the Ks, running them right through the plenum and just having the injectors pop out through the intake runners. Gone ahead, ground down the injector wire. This is pretty crucial, common for obviously for the Nissans to break, so you need to make sure that this wire is grounded. This is for your injectors. Getting through all the starter and the alternator wiring, the ground signals, getting all the little things situated, zip tying them all up out of the fan belt, as well as some of the vacuum lines. If you're looking to like boost your Ks, your fuel pressure regulator and your boost gauge should always go after the intake. So yeah, after the intake. So there's a really common line. This guy right back here, if you guys can see that line, you can tap into that one. This one's before it, so it doesn't really work, so it gets you a false reading. As well, this one you want to run to as well your blow off valve too. When you lose your pressure, as far as intake manifold pressure, you will now release all the excess pressure that was in the car. And then since we don't have a charge pipe on here, the turbo is not on, just your wastegate line will go right over to a vacuum source. Either your turbo has a line, which this one doesn't, so we would just tap right into a intake source, and then your boost controller just goes into there, and then now that's manipulating your wastegate spring. Other than that, we're just gonna get this blip to light. We're still gonna do one more ground. These are pretty crucial on the Nissans. So we're gonna get that all grounded up, do our final little checks, and then get a blip in, seeing what she does.
Baby.
So like I said, the turbo gasket was bad, so we just have it open headers. Obviously it's making oil pressure, which is good to go. So you're getting spark, fuel, all the necessities. So now we just told him he needs to get a little bit of a better intercooler setup. It's kind of janky. I was just going from like 2.5 to then just an inch. So with these Ks, since you're only running about, max 10 pounds of boost on these little setups, you want to try and get as much boost pressure, air velocity as fast as possible with that motor. Sounded good though.
What would you look at that?
Are you washing your hands?
No.
Oh, your job's done?
No.
No? No? All right, everything's on. As you can see, we got the intake pipe on for the turbo. We got the hot side routed. Boom, intercooler, cold side. If he wants to run a blow-off valve, we're just waiting for him to get a better one as far as some better pieces. We're getting the down pipe.
We don't have to weld this up anymore because this is already...
Okay, we got the down pipe. We're not using this pipe, just a flange for this guy. Not really the most proud of this job, but it's what we have available to us, and it's what we wanted and what he wanted for the price range. So it's gonna work. You're only gonna run about, you know, the low boost 5, I think 7 max. He's got these nice rims on. These like American corporate racing. I don't know what they are. 17s though, probably about like, you know, 7.5s or 8.5s. Other than that, she's looking good. We did take the exhaust pipe off. As you've seen, the down pipe for it is like a 3-inch V-band. What we had available and what the turbo we gave him, we swapped. It's not, it's like a, almost like an SR type style one, but just a little bit bigger, like a T3, T4. So we give him the flange and then he'll go and get the exhaust mated up with that guy over there. But we got the oil feed on, like I'm saying. All the oil, the radiator hoses. She's ready to go, isn't she, boys? You got the drive shaft off and the transmission.
Drive shaft's on the transmission.
Ooh, drive shaft on in the transmission.
Interior's all good.
Interior.
Got the torque kicker on there with the Nismo fucking Nismo knob.
There she is. Okay, is on the drive shaft. All right. Next video up should be it driving and running or something. Not too long as far as the brakes. As you can see, it is really close to the brake lines. But other than that, just get the coolant bled. But our job is pretty much over. He just wanted us to install the turbo kit and make everything all run good as far as the vacuum lines and everything good.
But other than that, she's good to blow.
He says she's just running the wastegate spring right now. I don't think you can see the line, but we just have that off to the side. Other than that, she's good to go. Alrighty. Alright, so we have her kind of on the ground. We got the down pipe at least put on, so at least he's able to drive it around. It is going to be a track car. We go to put the back on. It's another key reason just to go over your vehicles, especially when you purchase them. These old, he's been driving around with no nuts on these lower shocks. It's super dangerous, super dangerous. So luckily we found it when we were lowering it. We're always looking out for things, super observant when it comes to the cars like these. So we're gonna see if we have some lying around and see if we can get it started, which we know it will, and drive it on the road. So is that all off by me then? So we're back here with the Ka24de-T hatch. I don't know how much we said yesterday or what the boys said to you guys, but we're here. It wanted to start, couldn't start. I know you guys seen smoke coming out of here, so the PCV is, well, positive crankcase ventilation. It's pouring smoke out of somewhere. This thing will not idle, even though we got it to run and idle NA. So what's left, boys? With a good old compression check. We gotta run it. We gotta see the numbers.
We had smoke coming out of all the holes.
It looked like an upgraded version of Thomas the Train, but like Thomas the Piss Off KA was more like it. So we're gonna do a compression test, show you the numbers, and then go from there. So let's see.
Alright, it's tight. There's nothing. Good to go.
Pretty sure that's a healthy one.
No, still bad.
Really?
Early at 95.
Oh, no mames.
So, still bad.
That's
at
2.
95.
Write it down.
1 equals 60. Cylinder.
All cylinders?
Yeah.
95?
Yeah. You need testing every.
Every single one? Yeah.
You depend on.
So we know exactly which one's healthy and which one's not. So right now the first 2 aren't healthy. So if he does want to go rebuild it, we'll be like, okay, so I need to go look at the first and second piston. And if he doesn't, then whatever, you know, but at least he knows where his money went to as far as the diagnostic.
At 90. At 90 PSI. So
We do have the throttle body completely open too. All the spark plugs are out. Everything's good. That's really not the numbers you want to see.
no, a healthy KA, she should be reading at least 150, 155.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday. Even if she wanted to start lowest compression, even with a crappy idle and run, it's gonna at least be like lowest 120 or so. But this is at 90. You're not really getting a good combustion. Like I said, you need fuel, spark, air, combustion. You can have all three, but if you don't have combustion, you're done. All right, ready?
Yep. Oh, the only good one! Look
Really?
at that!
Which is ironic because the fourth one's usually always the one that takes the biggest beating. Since it's the hottest, since it's always the furthest away from the flow of the fluid cylinder, or the coolant temps.
Cooling system.
That's pretty crazy. So as you can see,
So that's where it's supposed to be at. That's a good cylinder. Number 4, it's good.
so yeah, but on that we didn't show you, but the first cylinder was at 60. That was definitely.
That's why she's blipping the life like as if she wants to start, but
She can't keep on because there's nothing for the motor to want to keep it on.
There's no compression, just going right by the rings. So we see all the smoke coming out the PCV and the valve cover cap.
So we know that either the rings are obviously done, the oil scrapers, or the piston skirts are done.
Or
So-
the valves have taken a beating. But the only way to check
I'm
that
pretty
out
sure
is
the rings
with the
are-
leak down. But yeah, nine times out of 10, it's always going to be the rings.
So this kind of ends the end of this Ka24de-T build. We know we've seen some ups and downs, but unfortunately it's kind of the life with this motor. He wanted us to get it running and going. He said it was good to go, but
You
unfortunately,
just bought it, obviously,
it
you
says
know,
otherwise.
just like with the Corolla, with the Corolla situation, you can't ever just trust with what someone says. You guys should always bring your tools and test out the motor that you guys are spending your hard-working, earned money for.
Or if not, hit us up to go check it out.
That's right. We also do.
So the only step now to do, if you're watching this and obviously you have a similar motor in the same predicament, there's only really like kind of two scenarios. First scenario, you just get another new motor, you start off fresh. Second one, now you go in and rebuild this. Obviously the cylinder walls are gonna have to get honed, or as you guys maybe know it, Dinkelball berry honed. Also you need to get new rings. I made cut, don't know where I started off, but let's just say the only way to fix this is either get a new motor, start off fresh, or rebuild this one as far as what's going on here when it's low in compression. You get new piston rings, new oil skirts, possibly Dinkelball berry the block out or hone it out, ever so slightly, depending on how bad the damage is.
Also check out the actual pistons as well. See if they have any damage to them as well.
But it's common on turbo motors to do it. Long story short, turbo heats up the cylinders, piston rings get hot, gap, butt, ring lamp pops. Me and Terry, pretty common. We know a lot about
We've
those.
done it a couple times already on the Ks.
But sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. So unfortunately, it's kind of wrap up this video. We wish you could come out with some more knowledge. But if we do end up rebuilding this, you guys already know we're gonna show you. So stay tuned.
R.I.P.
Hope you guys liked and enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna like other videos.
Goodbye to another KA. Say goodbye, guys. R.I.P.
Also, for posting this up now, we're going to the Hoonigan Sesh. So if you guys see us there, give us a
Say what's
like.
up.
Yeah, shout us out,
Honk.
Don't be afraid to say what's up. We're just like you guys. So have a cool day, guys, and hope you guys are ready for summer. This heat's here.
Yee!